Great, thank you so much for that intro. So like Sandra mentioned, today we're going to be talking about the Common App. Um, my name is Isis. I am an undergraduate senior at USC, so I actually use the Common App to apply to USC. I grew up in South Central. I went to school in Inglewood, so I've always remained very local. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to you guys today. And now my colleague Roxana will maybe want to say a few words.
Hi, everybody. My name is Roxana. I'm also an undergraduate at USC, so fight on. Um, and I'm majoring in sociology and political science. I'm from the San Fernando Valley. So yeah, I also use the Common App. We're very well acquainted with this app, so I hope you guys come to us for questions if you need to at the end of the presentation.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so just to go over CalSOAP's mission a bit, our goal is to increase the level of underrepresented students, which includes first-gen students of color in higher education. So we do provide a variety of different resources to students who sign up for the program, again, in order to increase involvement in post-secondary education and success once you get into some sort of college or university. Okay, so what is the Common App? It's a nonprofit college access org, which helps students apply to college every year. So it's an application tool, which is used by almost 900 different colleges and universities nationwide. Here, I think it's important to note that the types of schools which use Common App are primarily private schools. So if you're applying to any sort of private, it's most likely the case that you will be using the Common App. And it also can connect you with financial aid and scholarship opportunities. And in the bottom, you can see some logos of some schools which use the Common App. So there's NYU, USC, Stanford, Pepperdine. Yeah. Okay. So applying through the Common App. So you first have to create an account with the website. We have it listed there. It's fairly easy. If you see to the right, there's a screenshot of, I think it's like the first question that you get. You pick the type of student that you are, and from there you go typing in like your different information. You will need high school info, like your GPA, your class rank, your school's code, transcripts, SAT, ACT scores, which this year it's a little iffy about whether or not you need those. Yeah, and then you also need your citizenship info and parent info. So like marital status, things like that. So completing the Common Application, I think it's important to note that there are two different types of applications once you get into the Common App. So there's a general Common App, which everyone needs to fill out. There's different subsections. There's a profile, family, education, testing, activities, writing, courses, and grades. So again, this is something that everyone needs to fill out. And this will be sent to every school that you apply to using the Common App. And you can apply to 20 different colleges at once. So again, if you go to the Common App tab, this is where you can find that general application. Like I mentioned, there are two main parts. So you will need to complete the Common Application that's general, and that will be sent to every single school you apply to. And then on top of that, you can add different colleges and universities using the college search app tab, I mean. So here you can see we typed in the University of Southern California, then you click that plus button and it will add it to the schools that you are applying to. So each school you apply to will have different forms and different essays that you will need to complete. So it's not just one thing that you do, you have to complete different requirements throughout your application. So now.
Okay, completing the Common Application. As Isis said, it's divided into 7 sections right under the Common App tab, like we see on the screenshot to the right. We've highlighted the 7 sections, and we really wanted to emphasize the fact that each section has their own subsections. So let's say, for instance, on the screenshot, like we see to the right, the community-based organizations. If you answer you had 1 or 2 community-based organizations, they might ask you to clarify on that question itself. So it might prompt more questions, okay? This is going to be different for everybody though.
Yes.
And as Isis was saying, there's 2 different parts. So first we have the Common App general application, which is being sent to all colleges that you're applying to, right? And under this general application, we have the Common App personal essay. So this can be found under the writing tab, still under the Common App. And the students actually get to choose from 7 different prompts. We tried to include them. I think we did include them all on the slide to the right. And your prompts should be, your story should be about 250 to 650 words. So for this personal essay, you really get a lot of choice in what you want to share with these colleges. So for example, the first prompt we see here, some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful that they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. So let's say for myself, I really enjoy doing my makeup. I do it almost every day. I try different patterns. I just like, it's a way to express my creativity, but I haven't been able to express this in any other part of my application, through my grades, through my testing, through my recommendations. So if I want to choose so, this is my opportunity to show the colleges a little bit of my personality, a little bit of who I am, and what I'm bringing to their campus, right? So I would suggest picking 2 or 3 prompts you feel the most comfortable with, maybe drafting some ideas. And then once you do pick a question, make sure you're having people revise it. So at least hopefully one other person is reading your essay other than you, but ideally maybe 3 or 4 people can read your essay. So reach out to your counselors, reach out to your family. I had my friends and family read mine. They will pick up on things about you that you will not do so. So they'll read your essay and say, you know what, this doesn't really sound like you. It doesn't really explain everything that you are, or doesn't really highlight the best parts of you. Okay, so just make sure you're having at least one other person read it.
Yeah, and then just to really emphasize the fact that schools don't want to just see that you have good grades, like that is a big part of it, of course, but they also want to get to know you as a person and what you like to do outside of school. So really use these prompts as a way to sort of emphasize that you have a life outside of school, that you have things that you're passionate, that you care about outside of school grades. And also make sure you are reaching that word count. They will not accept any prompt that's below 250. So please make sure you're reaching that minimum.
And as a part of the application for each individual school, right? So the essay we were talking about before is for every school that will be sent to everyone that you apply. These writing supplements that we really want to talk about right here are very school specific. So under the My Colleges tab, like Isa says, after you add your school, so here we added USC, you can actually go to that tab, right? And you see on the side all the things that it lists. It has the application questions, recommenders in FERPA, review and submit, and then the extra writing supplement, which is where we're at right now. So each school will have their own writing prompt for students to complete. And these prompts are really, again, to get to know you a little bit better, a little bit more intimately. What are you as a student bringing to the campus, or who are you as a person living today in society? So they really want to get to know you on that personal level. USC, for example, has some quirky writing prompts as well that we pasted below. So describe yourself in 3 words. You only have 3 words to describe yourself. Don't beat yourself up about it. They're not gonna let you in just because you added 1 word that they liked, right? So this is just a supplemental to everything else that you're applying with. Again, a chance to show your personality, what you think of yourself, your identity, what you could perhaps bring to the campus as a student, maybe things in the long term. But it is really a chance to show yourself that I think that other applications don't allow you to do. So in this way, the Common App is really helpful for everybody that feels that maybe you're not really showing everything that you can to these colleges that you're applying to. And it's really important to note that the length of each prompt and the amount will vary from school to school. So some schools will only have one question, some will have three. It depends also as well what type of questions they're asking you. USC has a mix. They have words. They also have questions that are 250 words. So no, not bad. So as we were looking at each individual school, it's really important to highlight that every school has different application requirements and deadlines. So I wanted to go over specifically this school, USC, but just like the information that is provided for each school. So under the My Colleges tab under USC, we can see all the information that the school itself has provided to you, right? So we have contact information for the office. We also have links to virtual tours on campus, if that's something that's interesting to you, how to reach them through social media or how to follow their social media. And then really importantly, as we look on the bottom two screenshots, if you see the application deadlines, we see that USC has a first year regular decision deadline of January 15th, 2021. So that is when the deadline is due, right? But under that information, they actually provide a scholarship deadline, which is December 1st. So to qualify for this deadline, you have to apply by December 1st. And this is something that everybody should be doing, especially colleges like USC are very generous with their financial aid, especially if you apply by these deadlines. So make sure that you're taking note of each school that you're applying to, their individual deadlines, and all the information that you need. To the right, we also see that they provided the application fee, $85. We'll talk about this later in a couple of slides, but it's still important to note their test policy. So whether or not they're requiring the SAT or ACT test. We also have information about evaluations. So do you need to send a counselor recommendation, maybe a teacher evaluation? This is where you'll find that information out. And I would recommend maybe having a separate doc with all this information for each school individually, just so you don't get mixed up, right? So we're always taking care of these deadlines. And it also provides, if you would just want to see a general overview of what's required, so the writing supplements that we were talking about before. And every school, again, they might ask individual questions about your academics, your family, contact information, and just general questions. So just make sure to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, and I just can't stress enough how important it is to keep track of different deadlines. They will all be different. Write them down somewhere where you can see, and you can keep in mind like when everything is due, because they will differ. And you don't want to miss out on applying to a college because you got the deadlines mixed up.
And the recommenders in FERPA tab under My Colleges. So the FERPA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So it's a law that protects the privacy of your educational records. But since we are applying to all these colleges and they need your educational records in order to determine your eligibility to come onto campus or to come onto campus, you actually need to complete the FERPA release authorization. So when you complete this by pressing that button above, you're granting your high school permission to release all requested educational records from whatever institutions that you're applying to. So you're technically waiving your right to review recommendations and other forms. So let's say a teacher sends a recommendation on your behalf, you waived your right to see whatever they wrote. So whatever they wrote is being sent to the college, right? And you won't be able to see it. I would recommend obviously choosing a teacher, counselor that you trust. So even though you waive this right, you can always ask them later on. You can go into their class or go into office hours and maybe ask them personally if they could share their recommendation with you. Again, it's dependent on how they feel. But yeah, maybe someone you trust so you'll know what is being sent to these colleges. And once signing the FERPA, you'll see this screen below, which we added, and it'll allow you to invite counselors, recommenders, and advisors to your app. So it'll send them an email and it'll invite them to upload whatever recommendation that is needed for the school. as I said before, we were going to get to fees and waivers. So this is really important. The $85 fee seems like a lot, but these fees vary, right? So you can submit a request to waive the Common App fee if you're eligible. And under the Common App, the Profile tab, and you see we pointed down here to the Common App fee waiver. They give you a list of series of questions or series of options to see whether or not you apply to get the fee waiver. And even if you don't apply under those options, once again, you can talk to your counselor to see if you can apply for a fee waiver, because there are other options like applying for qualifying under free lunch, right? So if you receive free lunch, you'll be able to qualify for this fee waiver for the Common App. And this applies to the up to 20 colleges that Isis mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah,
So
please,
make sure
you
to,
yeah.
if you don't, make
Yeah,
sure if you don't see any of the options below that would qualify you, please talk to your counselor. There's always a way to find a fee waiver and it'll be worked out, but it's really on an individual basis, so we can't really give you a certain answer. But yes, please make sure to check with your college counselor.
Yeah, most of you should not be paying to apply to college. It adds up. It's a lot of money. So please reach out to someone so you will not have to pay for all of this. And that's pretty much it. So I know that I've been looking at the chat and there's been a couple of things pop up. Let me stop sharing and then we can maybe see if there are any questions being asked.